Last night, we had more than 6 feet of snow in the area. Just look at all this pile of snow around me.
What happens if you're out in the boonies with your family and the cell service goes out?
You die, obviously.
When disaster strikes, you can find yourself in a difficult situation. In our days, everyone is relying on their cell phones. We cannot imagine our life without them. But what happens if you're out in the boonies with your family and the cell service goes out? Because disaster. You're left with a bit of a pickle, aren't you? So what's the solution? You might be surprised to know that the easiest and cheapest way to get yourself out of the difficult situation may be CB radio, a citizens band as some call it, or criminal band. And the best bit? You don't have to have a license to operate it. Take that, California!
You decided to get a CB radio for yourself, or maybe you want to gift it to one of your significant others. Which radio should you choose? There are plenty of knockoffs to choose from, but should you choose to accept this challenge and get a good one, I recommend radios from two brands, Cobra and Striker. Not sponsored. Both of these are good choices. Cobra being a to-go for enthusiasts, and Striker is a popular choice for truckers. Have you seen trucks with two antennas and the thing dangling in the middle? That's a Striker.
Now you must be thinking, why can I just use a walkie-talkie radio? You know, the kind you get in your nearest Walmart store? There are two problems with that. First, all family radios are power limited at measly half a watt. That won't you get far. And second, FCC regulation says you cannot use the radios on the family band if the antenna is detachable, which means the antenna should be really small and compact and permanently attached to your radio. Well, that's like trying to scream for help from inside of your car when all the windows are shut. No one is going to hear you from 6 feet away, even if you try to use a big antenna.
Help! 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 Wow.
So is there a solution? Yes, there is, my friend. Antennas. Big antennas. They've got to be big because CB radio operates at 11 meters wavelength. That's 36 feet. And for antenna to be efficient, it needs to be at least a quarter wavelength. That's 9 feet. So how do you fit 9 feet inside or on top of the car? Well, you don't. Instead, you wrap it. Every antenna has a loading coil, usually at the base, which shortens the length of antenna. It makes it less efficient, but it makes it much more compact.
Yes, absolutely yes. And I'll tell you all about it, how long it should be to make her happy, meaning your radio, after this message from our sponsor. Subscribe button. Come on, do it. Antennas are like speakers. The bigger the antenna, the louder your radio is and the farther away you'll be heard. But the length of an antenna should be calculated and adjusted to your specific car, place where you mount it, and how you mount it. Best place is right in the middle of the roof of your car. But who needs this? Instead, one of the best ways to mount a CB antenna is a magnetic mount called NMO mount and a matching antenna. I'll put a link in the description below for a quality magnetic base and antenna.
And one more thing to watch out. When choosing the antenna for your emergency radio, you need to consider its weight. You don't want the wind resistance or wind load to be so high that, let's say you're using magnetic mount, it just falls off your roof. We've had this happen before.
That's what a disaster might look like. Last night we had more than 6 feet of snow in the area. Just look at all of that snow. And if you are on the road, you might be stranded. So it's a simple thing, like a CB radio, can be vital for your safety. And if you think that no one uses it, well, you'll be wrong there. You'll be surprised. Every single channel is packed with traffic. This is what we call when people are talking to each other. Not necessarily in the area around you, but it could be from miles, tens of miles, hundreds of miles, sometimes thousands of miles away. As you can see, there is a lot happening on the CB channels. Does it mean that people are using it correctly all the time? No. That's why it's called criminal band. Some people are nuts, driving tens of thousands of watts of power when FCC regulates it to be limited at 4. 4. But does it mean that this is not a good tool? Oh, hell no. It's a great tool. Just get it.
There is nothing to see here. Disperse! With the CB radio, you can operate AM, FM, or single sideband. Who doesn't like some sideband action? With AM, which stands for amplitude modulation, and FM, frequency modulation, you're allowed to use 4 watts of power. With the single sideband, however, it is 12 watts. Why? Because side action is always better. No, really, because you use half the frequency spectrum, literally half of the space, you can double the power of that of AM and FM, plus a little bit more. You know, make the last one 2 doubles. It's a cold one out there. Aha, since you insist. Stryker is certified as a 10-meter transceiver, which is close to CB band 11 meters, but because 10 meters is allocated for amateur use, on that subject later, make sure you subscribe, you can put in a more powerful transmitter legally. Now, do you get why truckers prefer Stryker? Yes. They're both legal and come with FCC certification. Any radio in compliance with this rule part will be legal, which basically means if you operate within these frequencies and within these power limits, you're fine. If you want to learn more about it, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I promise to make a deep dive video. We'll take a CB radio apart and clean and restore it, and I'll tell you all about it. Go on, hit that subscribe button. It's free. Thank you. Browning, or tram Browning to be exact, not to be confused with the Browning armor, has been in communication business since 1988. Even though they've been around for decades, they are still not as old as I am. But let me tell you, their products are top-notch. Here's an antenna, BR140. It's made from stainless steel, and I had this one for over 4 years now. It's still looking good. Out of the box, the whip, yes, the whip is 52 inches long. To get best performance out of this antenna on channel 19, which is in the US the main channel for truckers, you should cut it down to 47 3/8 inches, or 1207 millimeters, which is 1.207 meters. There you go, a useful pro tip. You will need an angle grinder or a very strong pair of bolt cutters because, you know, stainless steel. If you're patient enough, then a metal saw will do. Again, with your specific antenna placement, your length can be slightly different, but with this number, you'll be safe at 4 and 12 watts of legal power for most scenarios for this antenna. I do not recommend using rigid fiberglass stick antennas like this one, unless you're willing to drill holes, scratch your car's paint, and sacrifice efficiency of your CB radio. Anyone with the Jeeps over here? Make sure you leave the comment down below, and I promise that I answer every single one of them. Oh boy, what am I getting myself into? That's it. You attach your new antenna to your brand new CB radio, connected to power, and you're ready to talk to the world. It's an exciting adventure if you choose to accept this challenge. And remember, 11 meters is a day band, meaning your best results will be during the daylight, especially at dawn and sunsets, especially in the winter. To learn more about it, you guessed it, subscribe to this channel, and in my next video we'll fix a spare radio that I use. It's a Cobra WX-ST75 with physical knobs and intuitive dials, very exciting small little radio. They just don't make them like they used to. With that, thank you for watching, and did you subscribe? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.